Welcome to my Batman DC Figures action room. This is where I have the majority of my action figures, starting with these two standees of Batman 66, Batman and Robin, Adam West and Burt Ward. And so we're going to start there. My friend Jamie Sullivan actually did this cover, as well as this guy. Beautiful prints here of his work. And of course, with Batman 66 come the great actors of that era. And so here in the Villain's Lair, we have none other than Otto Preminger, Burgess Meredith, Victor Buono's King Tut, Frank Gorshin's Riddler, Eartha Kitt's Catwoman, Cesar Romero's Joker, and of course Vincent Price's Egghead, all in the Villain's Lair. That brings us down here to the Batmobile itself. This is an RC Batmobile from 66. So it does go. There's Robin and Julie Newmar's Catwoman, Batman and Penguin. Back in 67, they introduced Batgirl. And so this is her lair, as you can see, right down to the original setup. God, I love the old school Batman and Robin, including access to the Batcave, the great cast that made the show, the man himself, and the Batmobile, which you may recognize from the 5 points, as well as one more Batmobile. That's Batman 66. Taking you over now to the wall of superheroes and villains. You can see that this is a pretty intense miniature setup in an attempt to show you the whole thing. I'm going to go kind of row by row here. Some TV and movie action. I could describe them, but if you're a Justice League fan, I think you already know what you're looking at, including modes of transportation, some from 66, as well as earlier and later eras. So many Batman, so little time. Let's not forget Batmobiles, Robins, and villains. Back to some vehicles. Yay, Hot Wheels. They really come up with some cool stuff. More vehicles, more Batmen. Even got some Lego and some hanging keychains in there. So, a lot of miniature action. Which brings us to the comic book styles. Captain Cold and the Flash. Ocean Master and Aquaman, Brainiac and Superman, classic villain rogue matchups. Brings us to the Dark Knight, the trilogy that really made so much realism and grit come to the Batman series. And we have Christian Bale to thank for that, as well as a host of great actors, Gary Oldman, Anne Hathaway, Aaron Eckhart. There's Christian Bale twice, along with his Batmobile. Of course, Heath Ledger, Tom Hardy as Bane, and Michael Caine as Alfred. When it comes to rogues, we've got them. Lots and lots of rogues, as you can see, all the way from Steppenwolf and Arnold's Mr. Freeze to Shazam rogues, Batman Returns, Aquaman, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Suicide Squad, Darkseid's even there. So Lots of great rogues in the Rogues Gallery. Even some Flash and Green Lantern rogues, as well as Aquaman. We have the one and only The Batman with his Batmobile. Robert Pattinson. Hey, like the Bat shoe rug. Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz together in, I think, the best of the Batman movies. The Batman. For sure, there's only one Joker movie, but there are about to be two. First one was great, but thanks to the second one, we were going to see Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn, along with the return of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. We have Ben Affleck and his Justice League Batmobile, as well as the animated series Batman and his Batmobile, and Super Friends Batman and his Batmobile. Ben's back along with Michael Keaton, as they both had Batmobiles. In the recent Flash movie, which is illustrated here with Flash, Supergirl, and Michael Keaton's Batman, all inside the Batwing. This brings us to the Titans display, where we'll see Raven, Superboy and Krypto, Batgirl, Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, Wonder Girl, Hawk, Dove, and Starfire, Beast Boy, Cyborg, Vixen, Firestar, Kid Flash, Arsenal, and Aqualad. Love the Titans. Back in the day, superheroes kits looked like this, full of collectible cool stuff, including lots of smaller items, which I love to keep in these cupboards. As you can see, staring at you through the windows are some of the greats in the DC legend, including tiny little miniature versions of the Justice League heroes. I love those, as well as accurate versions, going back in time as well as forward. We could see some Hawkman action and some Justice League action, as well as Justice Society, some rogues. You might recognize Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones. Lots of Batmans and Batmobiles, as well as the entire Justice League ready to rock. I love the Justice League. You know, back in the day, they were just a few characters, and then they got bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point where the Justice League we know and love now has been brought to the screen by Zack Snyder. Green Lantern's coming, as well as new versions of all the great Justice Leaguers. In the meantime, we also have the Blue Beetle, Swamp Thing. We even have Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. Gotta love the Justice League. Finishing things out, in TV land, we have the Arrowverse. I love the Arrowverse, featuring Black Lightning, Green Arrow, Black Canary, the Flash, and in the Titans, Tim Drake's Robin, as well as Dick Grayson's Nightwing. Let's not forget Batwoman, a big part of the Arrowverse, and we see some great Batman-style accessories. Another great TV show was Gotham, a real favorite of mine. And this is the cast. Big Ben Affleck down here is my biggest action hero figure. And we got some 90s action here with the entire Justice League, Total Justice series of action figures. And in the back, you see a great Super Friends Batmobile, and Batcycle. Not to mention Michael Keaton's Batmobile from the Flash movie. We open up the cupboard, we'll see the Batman as Bruce Wayne in his Batcave. It's quite an intense setup with a couple of Batmobiles, Batcycle, and lots of computer action. All from the Robert Pattinson movies. I say movies because the new one's coming out in 25. The last setup are the many Batmans of the movies. Robert Pattinson, I already mentioned, and his foes down here, Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman. There's Val Kilmer with his Robin, Chris O'Donnell. Michael Keaton's Batman, and Ben Affleck's Batman, along with Michael Keaton's Joker, Jack Nicholson, and Ben Affleck's Parademon, and Harley Quinn, who he battled in the Suicide Squad. Here we have George Clooney's Batman with Alicia Silverstone's Batgirl, not to mention Uma Thurman's Poison Ivy. Last but not least, the Scarecrow, right? He won an Oscar this past year, and his nemesis, the Dark Knight. I hope you enjoyed my action figures room. Regards from the Batcave.